Manchester United is in major financial trouble, and before you click away, this video isn't just for football fans. This is a crazy story about a much loved British institution that's become so bloated it may just explode. This week, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, who owns just under 29% of the club, gave an interview to BBC which has sent shockwaves around the world. In this video, we're going to dissect it all. And also, if you don't watch football, don't worry, but who doesn't know Manchester United? It's a club built on glory, triumph and history, and it was home to players like David Beckham and Cristiano Ronaldo, the who's who of sports stars. From the days of Sir Matt Busby to the unstoppable era of Alex Ferguson, this was a club that didn't just dominate English football, it defined it. It was a theatre of dreams. But today, the theatre of dreams is more like a theatre of nightmares, because in 2025, Manchester United is unrecognisable thanks to some shady business dealings by their American owners, the Glazer family. The club is now drowning in debt, and what we'll reveal later in this video is really shocking. And if things don't turn around, they could be heading for a financial catastrophe unlike anything we've seen in football history. This week, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, the billionaire who bought a minority stake in the club, revealed a lot that fans had been fearing for quite a while.
Manchester United would have run out of cash by the end of this year, by the end of 2025, after me having put $300 million in.
Just let that sink in. It's a club valued at billions, with millions of fans worldwide, and it could just be months away from financial collapse. So how did we get to this? And more importantly, will Manchester United survive? To understand just how bad things have gotten, we need to go back. For decades, Manchester United wasn't just a club. It was a global footballing empire. 13 Premier League titles, 3 Champions League titles. It had the biggest fan base in the world. But in 2013, everything changed. Sir Alex Ferguson, who is the architect of United's success, retired. The club, once an unstoppable force, became directionless. The club was bought by an American billionaire family of siblings called the Glazers, and initially fans were excited about new ownership. But this excitement didn't last long, because it became pretty obvious that the Glazers didn't buy Manchester United to make it better. They bought it to exploit it to the point of collapse. Through a controversial leverage buyout in 2005, they took control of the club, not with their own money, but with debt. And they loaded hundreds of millions of pounds of debt onto the club's books. For the last 2 decades, they've milked it for every penny. Wait for it.
They've taken nearly £200 million out in cash.
In dividends, mostly paid to themselves. Hundreds of millions in debt repayments, all while the club has been declining. Instead, United became victim to a sort of parasite, sucking the club dry of any finances. Hundreds of millions have been poured into the wrong players, the wrong managers and the wrong deals. And now, well, the damage is potentially irreversible. So what happened? Well, the club just kept losing money. Year after year, the losses piled up, and Manchester United has been running at a deficit for 7 years straight, losing an estimated £330 million in the last 5 years. This isn't just bad business, it's financial disaster, and it's almost enough to end the club's long history. Then came the Sir Jim Ratcliffe interview this week. He lifted the curtain on the real state of Manchester United's finances.
Manchester United has lost money for the last 7 years, and it's something like in the last 4 years alone, it's lost 330 million pounds.
It's horrific.
That's a third of £1 billion in the last 4 years.
And what he revealed was nothing short of catastrophic. United fans expected a rebuild, and some expected some difficult years ahead. But instead what they got was a chilling reality. Ratcliffe revealed the truth.
Manchester United would have run out of money at the end of this year. November this year, the club runs out of cash.
Just let that sink in. Manchester United, one of the biggest clubs in the world, one of the most historic British sporting institutions, was months away from financial ruin thanks to these American owners. And here's how it happened. The numbers are terrifying. Ratcliffe confirmed that for the last 7 seasons, Manchester United's been losing money every single year. £330 million in losses over 5 years. A wage bill of £250 million a year, one of the highest in world football. Debt repayments alone costing the club £35 million per year, and 7 consecutive seasons operating at a financial loss. And the simple truth is that for years, Manchester United has been spending more than it makes. In business, that's a one-way ticket to financial ruin. Ratcliffe admitted that had he not put in $300 million of his own money into the club, United would have run out of cash by the end of 2025.
Manchester United would have run out of cash by the end of this year, by the end of 2025, after me having put $300 million in.
And this club, while it's worth billions on papers, it was on course to go broke in less than a year. And that's if they hadn't signed any new players. If United had gone into the summer transfer window, tried to compete with the likes of Man City, Arsenal and Liverpool, spent money like a top club should, They would have nothing left, zero. So how did United get in such a financial mess? Ratcliffe explained that United's entire financial model is broken. For years, the club has been burning cash with little to show for it. Wages have skyrocketed. United's highest earners include players who don't even play. Casemiro, Antony and Sancho are all still on huge wages. United has spent over £1 billion in transfers over the last decade, and yet they've failed to challenge for a Premier League title. Ratcliffe didn't hold back when talking about the previous regime's mistakes. In his own words, we have inherited problems. Big problems. For a decade, poor recruitment, overpriced signings and a complete lack of financial discipline have been destroying the club from within. Take this example. In the summer of 2022, United spent over £200 million on players. By the summer of 2024, they were already considering selling some of these players because of financial strain. That's not building a squad, that's desperate spending. Ratcliffe also revealed how little planning had gone into the squad before his arrival. 4 of United's top earners were unavailable due to injury or poor form, and the depth of the squad was so bad that by the time the new manager Ruben Amorim arrived, he was working with a paper-thin squad of fit first-team players. He even said that Amorim was doing a great job considering the mess he inherited. The Glazers, well, they left nothing in reserve. The moment the commercial machine slowed down because of missing the Champions League, everything has started to collapse. And the most shocking thing about this all is that the Glazers are still there. They're still involved. They still own the majority of the club.
To Manchester United fans, Mr. Glazer, is it time to sell the club, Mr. Glazer? Nothing to say at all to the fans of Manchester United, Mr. Glazer. This is an opportunity for you.
This week, Manchester United dropped the biggest bombshell of all, and it's really kind of crazy to think about it. They aren't just trying to fix their finances, they're planning on building the biggest football stadium in the UK, a 100,000-seater state-of-the-art venue that would surpass Wembley and become the new home of Manchester United. The project will be the centrepiece of a government-led regeneration plan, promising to bring jobs, investment and a new era for the club. And all this sounds incredible. A brand new stadium, some more matchday revenue, a fresh start. But where's the money coming from? Hundreds of staff have been made redundant, free meals for club employees have been scrapped, ticket prices as usual have gone up, and club legends like Sir Alex Ferguson have lost ambassadorial roles to save money. Yet even though Manchester United is cutting these costs aggressively, they still plan on spending £2 billion on a new stadium. Right now, Manchester United are already in financial crisis. The club is losing tens of millions every year. They're already struggling with huge debt repayments thanks to the Glazers, and now they're committing to a £2 billion stadium project. Well, he insists that the financing isn't the problem, but history would tell us otherwise.
If we're making money, the opposite will happen. What we need to do is make the club, because
if this stadium project goes wrong and investors don't come through, or if costs spiral out of control, Manchester United could be looking at a financial black hole from which they'll never recover. And even if the stadium does happen, what happens to Old Trafford? United's legendary grounds, the scene of countless historic moments, will become nothing more than an abandoned relic. One of the most iconic stadiums in the world, replaced. It's a bold move, but it's a highly risky one. And at this point, Manchester United isn't just fighting to build a new stadium, they're fighting for their own very survival. So what'll happen in the future? Well, it's hard to predict, but make no mistake, this is probably the most dangerous moment in Manchester United's history. And the question really is simple: what happens next to England's most historic club? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and if you want to stay updated on stories like this, make sure to like and subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon because trust me, this story is far from over.